Mr. President.
Ladies and gentlemen, three of the music marvels of the Gridiron Club. You've already met Alan Emery, the music chairman, and now I want to introduce to you the deputy music chairman. On the right, Philip Jalen of the Washington Post. And on the left, Charles McDowell of the Richmond Times-Dispatch.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, it is high time that we pay tribute and express our thanks to our drill instructors from the Marines, the people who have enabled us tonight, the Gridiron Chorus, to perform the miracle that is unfolded before you. You laugh. You should have been at the first rehearsal. So I'm proud to introduce the Assistant Director of the U.S. Marine Band and also the Assistant Music Director and prompter of the Wayward of the Gridiron Chorus, Major Timothy Foley. I am proud and pleased as well to introduce an old friend, our patient, tireless taskmaster, the director of the U.S. Marine Band, who has been moonlighting for 10 years now as the musical director of the Gridiron Club when he has not been on world tour with what has come to be known as the President's own, Colonel John Bourgeois.
While we're here, Mr. President, we also want to pay the most thanks we can invent to the Les Carr Orchestra and to our thank you. And we want to thank, as much as we know how, our accompanist, our arranger, our friend who, through some terrible combination of trickery and tolerance, gives us the crazy impression that we know what we're doing up here, Mr. Les Carr.
And now, Mr. President, the Gridiron Soloists and Chorus, with a little mixture of nostalgia and a greater mixture of national pride, present our own special closing message.
It seems that we have sung these tunes before.
The words we are using, we were using then.
But we can't remember where or when.
The clothes we're wearing are the clothes we wore.
The glow we are feeling, we were feeling then. But we can't remember where or when. When you hear our people singing the music of our land, it is the music of a people that knows when to take a stand. When the beating of our hearts echoes the beating of the drums, we have the faith to do our part when tomorrow comes. cried the heroes of the past, who will be strong and stand with me. Their vision of the future was a country great and free. They joined in a fight that gave us all the right to be free. Let the people rise and sing, singing the music of our land. It is the music of a people that knows when to take a stand. When the beating of our heart echoes the beating of the drums, we have the faith to do our part when tomorrow comes. We have the faith to do our part when tomorrow comes. We have the faith to do our part when tomorrow comes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we really are making some history here tonight. President and Mrs. Reagan are attending their 8th straight dinner of the Gridiron Club. They have had their times of triumph and their periods of trauma, but they've always shown up at this dinner bringing grace and good humor. They've taken our barbs and given back as good as they got. So the Gridiron Singers and Chorus want to say something to them tonight.
For the memory of Stockman and Jim Watt, that Iran-Contra plot of Ollie and Bill Casey, the diversions you forgot. Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks for the memories of Nancy playing Rose in second-handed clothes, and banishing Al Haig and bloodying up Don Regan's nose. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for great moments of laughter. You stole the show during and after. Guffaws hit the floor. From 81 to this year's fun
Thanks for the memory of all the times we had, the happy and the sad. Looking back, Don Regan doesn't even seem so bad. Oh, it's been so swell. Thanks for the memory. That Soviet Mona Lisa, otherwise known as Raisa, she said to me, "Would you like to see my MasterCard and Visa?" Oh, it's been so swell. Not always happy, that's granted. The Congress, it raved and ranted. The right wing became disenchanted. In spite of it all, we had a ball. So thanks for the memory of the whole press corps. At times I cursed and swore. You sometimes were a headache, but you never were a bore. I thank you. Bye-bye. Not always happy, that's granted. The Congress, it raved and ranted. The right wing became disenchanted. In spite of it all, we had a ball. So thanks for the rain. It's time to say goodbye. Oh, how the time does fly. Ronnie's loved these past 8 years, and so I confess, have I. So thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
In its 103 years, the Gridiron Club has had but one toast. Ladies and gentlemen, to the President of the United States.
President Carl Rowan, members of the Gridiron, and honored guests. Carl, you've been doing some things about changing tradition and all, and just completely personal note. And I thank you for that toast, but you know, in Philadelphia, they have a custom that they only rise to toast the dead. But before I refuse to take questions, I have an opening statement. I thought Nancy's performance was absolutely wonderful. Let Raisa try to top that. Well, you Gridiron members, you certainly love to perform. I understand your Gridiron motto, the show must go on, and on, and on, and on. Well, Nancy and I thank you for inviting us. We just didn't know that we were supposed to stay overnight. And my, when I look at this audience, I haven't seen so many people dressed like this since the Grosse Pointe Republican Caucus. But you know that this is the last time I will address the Gridiron. Times have to change. The other day I heard a reporter asking Howard Baker what the great communicator plans for the future. And Howard said, I think he plans to remain governor of New York. Actually, I was surprised to see Mario Cuomo here. I thought they said Perry Como. Incidentally, if it seems a little stuffy in here, it's because when I found out that it was Mario, I ordered all the doors closed tight. I didn't want the governor to feel a draft. And I'm glad that Alan Simpson was here. He combines the heart of a cowboy with the height of a basketball player. You know, Al looks like what you'd get if Dale Evans had a child by Bill Bradley. Al's mother knew she was having a tall baby. He was born on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But, by the way, if you're wondering why George Bush couldn't be here tonight, he actually intended to be here, but his 18-wheeler broke down on the interstate. And by the way, have you ever thought that if Pat Robertson made it, there'd be no more hail to the chief? He'd make it when the Saints come marching in. You know, I thought it was unfair of Pat to accuse the vice president of blowing the whistle on Jimmy Swaggart. But I have to give it to Bob Dole. Give him credit. He came right to George's defense. He said George isn't the type to blow a whistle on anyone. He'd have the doorman do it. But I'm optimistic. I believe that either Bob or George can win the 49 states again this year. And if George is the nominee, well, he can win it just if he wins each of his home states. I saw Jesse Jackson addressing a group the other day. He had them all chanting, I am somebody, I am somebody. And you know, before long, he had all those Democratic candidates believing it. Of course, some candidates have already dropped out. I knew Gary Hart was in trouble when he changed his campaign slogan from "Let the people decide" to "Who asked you?" read in the papers the other day that Dukakis was slipping. Big deal. They've been saying that about me for years. They say I'm not on top of anything anymore. Well, I think we proved them wrong at the summit. You know, if you don't believe me, let them ask, what's his name? Yeah, Nikita Khrushchev. And then they're complaining that I'm avoiding the press. Well, you'd be surprised at the foreign leaders who are calling me for advice. Who do they think's been giving Panama President Del Valle those tips on hiding out? And then there's all that stuff about Nancy's influence. That pillow talk thing has gone too far. Just the other night, I woke up to find half the cabinet in bed with me. I wouldn't have minded, but Otis Bowen's feet were like ice. And Frank Carlucci kept stealing the covers. I'll admit, there are times when I wish that Nancy wouldn't begin the pillow talk just before I fall asleep. Oh, I don't mind having to stay awake. I just don't like having to get up and go to my desk to get my 3x5 cards. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time to bring this evening to a close. But I want you to know that someday Nancy and I will be reminiscing about the Gridiron. I'll say, remember when Carl Rowan was president and Mario Cuomo was the Democratic speaker and you sang that song? And Nancy will say, honey, that was just last night. No matter, I always carry the memories of laughter in my heart, and laughter is what I'll always remember about Gridiron. That and sitting on my keister for 5 hours straight. But I don't think you'll find a president who'll enjoy this evening as much as I've enjoyed them. I don't think you'll find a president who appreciates how much work the members put in to this evening. You know, I've been thinking, you're really going to miss me if you have to sit through 8 years of President Dukakis. And on that note, to my friends in the Gridiron, I say for the last time, thank you, good night, and God bless you all.
I think President and Mrs. Reagan are going to stay with us until we do Auld Lang Syne, and then we'll stay in our places until they leave the room, if you would please. Would John Bigby, the singer, are you doing it, Adon? Yeah. Adon Phillips is going to do our traditional Auld Lang Syne.
And days of For